grab your fucking drinks, get your fireworks, and have a happy 4th of July. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this special episode of Beware the Board, a horror podcast where we watch a randomly selected horror movie every week. I'm Bob.
And I'm Ben.
Hey, Ben.
Hello.
Happy 4th of July.
Woo.
Whee! Patriotism. Woo!
Get to blow stuff up.
That might be the most American thing you can do.
Yeah.
Blow shit up.
Well, no,
It's
I
awesome.
could shoot things and blow stuff up.
That's true. Do you have a gun?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I was just curious. I don't know. I don't know. I've never asked you that. That's weird that I've never asked you that. I feel like I should have asked you that a while ago. I don't know. Anyway, what are we doing today, Ben?
We're watching a movie.
What
Duh.
movie are you watching, Ben?
Oh. Why didn't you ask that? So we're watching Jaws today
Yeah.
because that's kind of technically a 4th of July movie.
It takes place on 4th of July weekend.
Kinda, yeah.
It does, though.
I think for part of it.
Yeah.
I don't think the whole thing.
The front half.
We checked. That checks out, kinda.
Yeah, I Googled it. I did a quick little search.
There was some Googling, but I'm putting this totally out there on the board. You didn't laugh. I'm putting this out there on the board that we kind of chose this movie not necessarily because it's the best 4th of July film ever, but because it's actually one of our convention prep movies.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, what if we got rid of this so we don't have to do it later?
Yeah, basically, we're killing two birds, one stone.
Yeah.
This is a 4th of July movie, which we needed anyway. And also, it's a convention prep episode. And also, it's a shark movie.
It's an ocean movie.
And I'm really... Look, I know Jaws is not necessarily scary to the average viewer. I have an intense fear of the ocean and sharks.
I don't know, Bob. It's the scariest rating imaginable for you.
No, it's not. You're
Yes, it
fucking with
is.
me. No way. It's over. It's over.
Scariest rating for you.
This might be the second movie where I cry. Even though that other movie hasn't come out yet when this comes out.
There.
An episode comes out where I cry, guys. Not for the
Tears-
reason you'd expect.
Not tears of fear.
No.
He was very emotional, but not for the
Tears
reason
of
you think.
sadness.
All right. But yeah, we're going to be watching Jaws. If you haven't been listening to our convention prep stuff, basically we're watching all movies that have like guests that are going to be at the convention and then are in these films. So we have some people going to that convention that are in Jaws.
Yeah, which is
Um,
exciting. It's pretty cool.
On that note, I think I'm just going to get into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's Jaws. Come on.
Yeah. This is one of those movies where like so much has been said about it. There's so much like documentation on like facts about this movie that I'm going to do a brief like brush over here for Bob. But if you actually want to learn about like Jaws and its production, I'm sure you can go find a documentary
I was about to
on
say,
it.
aren't there documentaries just about Jaws?
Yeah. So sorry if this isn't as detailed as you want, but sucks. All right. It's a 1975 film.
Damn, I didn't realize it was that, like, early.
Yeah.
Like, it was that old.
Description: say goodbye to a pleasant weekend at the beach.
Yes.
Length: 2 hours and 4 minutes long.
God damn it. Why does this keep happening? What is with these long-ass movies lately?
Yeah.
No, I'm curious because, like, I feel like the first, 3 seasons of the show, we were like, hour 30 minutes max.
I saved them. I saved all of them.
And now we're just getting railed by movie times.
All right. Rating. It's bad, Bob. PG.
I hate it.
PG.
Might be the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is pre-Gremlins, so PG-13 didn't exist yet.
I see. That's why I was surprised just now. Like, because I expected it to be PG-13. Because I've seen some of this movie before I left the room because I was too scared to finish it.
Either case, just know that like it's basically a PG-13 film.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't have that rating back in the day.
Fair enough.
All right, review scores. IMDb gave it an 8.1 out of 10. Tomato meter gave it a 97. Audience score of 90%. Awards, it has 15 wins and 20 nominations.
God, this is like a really accredited film. People
Yeah.
love this movie.
People, not Bob. Bob's going to have a bad time.
I don't want to cry.
All right, Roy Scheider as Brody. He played Buddy Rousseau in The French Connection. Robert Shaw as Quint. He played King Henry VIII in A Man for All Seasons. Richard Dreyfuss as Hooper. He played Roy Neary in Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, no.
Lorraine Gary as Ellen Brody. She played Joanne Douglas in 1941. Murray Hamilton as Vaughn. He played Mr. Robinson in The Graduate. Not Mrs. Robinson. Mr. Robinson. Carl Gottlieb as Meadows. Played Dr. Magnus and Johnny Dangerous. Jeffrey Kramer as Hendrix. He played the motorist in Clue. Susan Backlinie as Chrissy. She played Mandy Young in Day of the Animals, and then finally Peter Benchley as interviewer. He was the mate in The Deep.
Okay.
All right, the director Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
You know him for Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, I
It's
love
the only
that movie.
other film you've seen with him
It's
directing.
a great movie. We had a very long, not a very long. We had a good conversation about the Ark the other day. I don't know if we should tell on the
That's fair.
podcast.
No, let's leave that one
No,
out.
but it was just. I'm just saying. We talk about that movie more than I think most people.
Yeah, well, that might not be true. I want to stress here, though, that we didn't talk about, like, the Ark of the Covenant as, like, a religious icon. We talked about it as in the universe of Indiana Jones and how it works
Yeah.
for, like, an hour.
We just go on rant sometimes about random movie shit. It just happens. That's why we have a podcast. Damn it.
Writers are Peter Benchley. He also wrote The Deep. And Carl Gottlieb, who wrote Caveman, that film I've mentioned here before.
Oh yeah. The Ringo Starr film.
Yeah, the Ringgold.
Stop talking about the Ringles. We're not bringing the Ringles joke to the podcast. It's not happening. I won't allow it.
All right.
Not until we have Evan on the podcast. Then we can bring up the Ringles thing, because that came from him.
All right, the budget estimated at $7 million. Box office was $476.5 million.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
I knew this movie was, like, popular.
Yeah.
Holy shit,
It was
dude.
the highest grossing film of all time until Star Wars was released like 2 years later.
Whoa. Holy shit, that's crazy.
Country of origin, United States. And the working title in the U.S. was Stillness in the Water.
That's way scarier. That's a scary
Nah.
title.
Jaws is better.
Jaws is better, but Stillness in the Water sounds more like a horror movie.
Just because you don't like water. It sounds so much worse if you don't have a water phobia.
I'm not afraid of water. I'm afraid
You're
of the
afraid
ocean.
of water.
It's very different. That's not true.
Once the water gets big enough, it's intimidating to you.
That's fair.
It's like a person. Once it grows to inordinate sizes, it starts to get intimidating to Bob.
That's how people work, man.
Bob's afraid of fat people.
Okay. I wouldn't say that.
I don't know. You said that's how people work. All right. Tagline: the terrifying motion picture from the terrifying #1 bestseller. There's a couple other taglines, but that's the one on like most posters, because
Yeah.
this was a book like before it was a movie.
I've heard the book is quite different and also
Yeah.
like really good still.
So the book came out in 1974.
Okay.
So like,
Right before the movie.
yeah, from what I could find, the guys who bought the rights to the book before the book came out.
Damn.
Like they just read it. Like they read it all in one night. We're like, this is gonna be really good, and then they bought the rights.
Hell yeah.
And apparently, if they had read the book a second of time, they probably wouldn't have bought the rights to the book because it was just very hard to adapt.
I see.
Not that it wasn't good, but the book was written by Peter Benchley. If you paid
Oh.
attention, also wrote the screenplay.
Yeah, that's cool. Wow.
But he wrote the book after like gaining interest in shark attacks, after like learning about Frank Mindus, who was like a famous shark hunter from I think like New York. Interesting book, because a lot of the stuff that's in it got cut because
Okay.
it's a book and there's just a lot more going on.
Yeah, a lot of content.
So they had to cut a bunch of stuff to streamline the story, but also just because it was super hard or impossible to shoot.
Fair enough.
But what I do want to mention about the book before we move on to the movie is that like Benchley has gone on record being like, at the time when he wrote it, he like put a lot of research into the book, and he was like, yeah, everything I found is real, just not like it has literally happened, but it's all like based on real stuff.
Oh, okay,
Like
that's
this is
pretty
how
cool.
sharks behave. And years later he's been like, yeah, no.
Look, it was 1975. They didn't have intense research.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like shark research didn't exist in the 70s. It's actually a super new thing. In part because of Jaws being so popular. A lot of kids got into sharks and wanted to study sharks when they were older. And then in like the 90s and 2000s when they were adults, they studied sharks, which is great. But before that, there was no shark research. So a lot of the stuff was like hearsay.
Mm-hmm.
And so like he's gone on record saying like, yeah, this is a book I couldn't make today because I'd feel so bad. Because he writes the shark in Jaws, like the book, like it's a robotic killing machine and not like an animal,
I see.
because that's what information said back in the day. And he's like, I couldn't write a book like that because it not only isn't accurate, but it's demonizing an actual creature that's pretty chill.
Yeah, I would say like detrimental to the species as a whole.
Yep.
And kind of puts it in a bad light.
And it's something that really does have to be noted because, well, this movie was super popular. It's also what started shark phobia
Yeah.
as a thing because it just wasn't before. I think the coolest fact I have about that is, shark attacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
They happen on beaches sometimes. They weren't called shark attacks prior to like this. They were called shark-related accidents because
Oh, wow.
that's just what they were. They weren't a shark attacking you. It was you swam super deep and a shark just happened to bite you on accident. So it's like a swimming accident, like where you drown. It
Huh.
wasn't a big deal. No one cared.
That's wild. It's like a whole thing now. We have like Shark Week.
And the narrative switched because like sharks got really big, but they also got like super scary in the
Mhm.
zeitgeist. And it's important to note because that also like besides the fact that it paints this creature as like a killing machine, which isn't fair because you can see tons of diving footage where people just go boop and pet
Yeah.
sharks and stuff. They're pretty chill because we're weird swimming land monkeys that don't taste good. We don't have enough fat
Mhm.
for us to be tasty. But like it promoted a lot of shark hunting in the
See, that's
70s
wild
and
to
80s,
me.
and a lot of sharks got like overhunted. Not to mention the fact that like we have major like shark finning nowadays,
Mhm.
so sharks are like getting super endangered.
Yeah.
So kind of a negative moment on this podcast for us, but it is important to mention because it's a big deal.
No, I think it's good to talk about shit like that, especially when a film like this is so ubiquitous. Like this, for a lot of people, is the shark movie. So it's good to know that it had a negative cultural impact while also realizing it's still probably a good movie.
Yep.
You got to cover the good and the bad, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did a lot of bad things for like sharks, but
Mhm.
it's super cool. I do want to say on that super bad shark hunting thing, just a fun fact with you. Sharks are one of those weird animals that they get a lot older than we used to think they get.
Mhm.
There's a really famous fish, and I forget what it is. It's red something, but it's like this. It's like red fish. It's about 6 inches long or something.
Mhm. That's way
Two-
bigger than 6 inches,
Yeah.
bro.
It's a fairly decently big fish, and they used to be like overfished for a long time until their numbers like declined super heavily, and we had this horrifying realization of these things don't like reproduce every 5 years; they reproduce every like 50 years.
Oh.
And so the ones we were eating were like 50 years old
Holy crap.
or like 60 years old plus.
We were eating a bunch of old fish.
The point being is we'd like devastate their numbers, and sharks are kind of in the same boat,
Really?
which again is like new stuff they're finding out now. But like great whites,
Mhm.
we used to think reproduced like a lot earlier, like 20 years old or whatever, and we're now like, oh yeah, they don't start breeding until they're like 60. So
Holy crap.
we'll see Brucey in this film, big jaws. That's like an 80-year-old looking shark.
God
So
bless.
big, yeah.
Old ass shark. I didn't know. Like I knew they got old. I didn't know they took so long to have babies.
Yeah. Well, 'cause they don't reach maturity for like forever.
I guess because their lifespan is so long, they don't have to.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
But I think it's important to mention 'cause like that's part of the reason like they're being hunting is so bad
Mm-hmm.
'cause they don't like reproduce fast. They reproduce super slow.
Yeah.
So
Damn.
their numbers don't recover easily. On that note, we can kind of move back on to the movie stuff. Like I said, this was written by Benchley and Gottlieb, and what's important to note is Benchley wrote like the first couple drafts of the film.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was about 3 from what I could find
It's a good amount of drafts.
before the script was like given over to Spielberg, and Benchley was like, "Yeah, I can't give you any more than this," because he's a novelist and not
Mhm.
a screenwriter. They actually had him write the early screenplays both because it was a part of like the contract for getting like selling the rights to the book,
Mm-hmm.
but also because he wasn't in the union for like screenwriters guilds,
Oh.
and it looked like there might be a strike coming up soon,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, well, at least we'll have one draft of the screenplay before the strike
So they could start working on it.
so they could start working on it. But yeah, he did 3 different versions, and after he gave it over to Spielberg, it went to so many different people. From what I could find, there's a bunch of different uncredited people that like contributed to the script.
Really?
Yeah. But one of the big ones for like actually being credited is Gottlieb, who was like he did a lot of comedy stuff, and he was friends with Spielberg. So Spielberg suggested him to like get a writing part, and
Mhm.
he got it. So he basically helped, especially do the characterization and stuff like that to make it just feel better. Benchley has said that like as far as contributions to the script of the completed film, because he did write the early drafts, but like after everything's been added to the scripts, he only said he did I'm quoting here, the storyline and the ocean stuff, basically the mechanics, because he didn't know how to put the character texture into a screenplay.
That's cool.
So,
That's
like-
really cool.
Apparently a lot of the character stuff comes from Gottlieb and other writers. a bunch of other writers.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot of stuff was just improv too. Like Gottlieb and Spielberg and a bunch of other people would get together for dinner and just like bounce lines off each other, and then be like, "Are we recording that tomorrow?" Sure. Yeah. So the film is shot mostly on location in Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts. So if you ever want to go swim in the Jaws water, Bob's looking super excited at that
Nope.
comment.
No.
And from what I could find, it was basically the first major motion picture to be shot on the ocean.
Wow, that's really cool.
Major motion picture. I'm sure there's been stuff
Yeah,
shot on the ocean before, but like actually on the ocean. And because of that, there was a bunch of like production problems, which led to going over budget and going over time, which is never good. But they got it out for the summertime, which I think the big thing to mention about this film before we get into it, because that's kind of most of what I want to talk about before I watch it, is that this is basically what invented the summer blockbuster. For a long time, summer releases were kind of like the trash heap, essentially, because who wants to go into a movie theater in the middle of summer?
There's other stuff to do.
There's other stuff to do
Outside.
Obviously, that's switched around nowadays, and everyone's like, yeah, let's go into a movie theater. In the summer, it's hot. But
Yeah.
back in the day, everyone was like, let's be outside. And this kind of proved that, we could put a movie into that slot and expect it to do well. So that was a big deal. But the other thing that Jaws did is it really created the idea of a tentpole movie for studios. I think I've talked to you about that before.
We've discussed it, but I don't think we've done it on the show.
But a tentpole movie is basically this concept that you have one movie that does so well that it can basically pay for your production company.
Yep.
And before like tentpole movies exist, basically before Jaws, they didn't do that. You basically had to have all your projects firing like multiple cylinders and hope that you basically recouped enough money to keep yourself going. And Jaws basically created this idea that, well, why don't we put all our eggs in one basket and just hope it works? And you know what? It works.
It worked this time.
And it works most times. That's why you usually have studios pumping out like usually really, really big series and then very little of everything else nowadays.
Like 1 or 2 movies a year for like big companies.
Yeah, because it works. It pays for everything. It's just a very good, I don't know. It's a very good way to do it, but it kind of sucks for like creativity.
Yeah.
For like just producing a lot of other movies.
Well, because it means that like you can basically hone your resources and make one really good thing.
Or one really financially successful thing. Not necessarily good.
Not necessarily good, but one thing that people are going to go see, and then it pays for everything, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Yep. So that's just important to know it as like a kind of a cultural milestone with this film. But that's all I have for like research that I think is relevant to talk about before we get into the movie. I'm just going to say right now I don't have a lot to talk about afterwards, except for like what we're going to see on screen.
Yeah.
But I say we just get to it.
Okay.
Don't sound too excited.
Oh, I'm nervous. Yeah, this movie scares me. Look, I know I'm probably sound like a little baby on this episode, okay?
You are
I
a little baby.
Don't
little
like
baby man.
sharks nor the ocean. I haven't seen this movie since I was 9.
He's lying. He hasn't seen this movie. Bob was like, I saw the first like 30 minutes.
No, 45. First 45 minutes and I left because I was too scared.
A 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
You saw less than half. You haven't seen this film.
We'll see. We'll see how much I remember too, because I haven't seen it in a long. I haven't seen this in
You
over.
don't remember.
It's been a long time.
But I can tell you right now, this is a suspense film. You probably saw 5 minutes of shark in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It was probably like a fin, a dorsal fin.
I was scared.
Nothing else.
I was very scared.
You haven't seen Jaws. It's okay.
Okay. I guess we'll see you guys after the movie. Hi everybody, welcome back. We just finished watching Jaws. Man, I can't even talk.
You can tell Bob had a great time.
It was a good movie.
Yeah, I think Bob had fun. I think, yeah.
Fun is some of it was fun.
Did you realize A, you didn't remember anything, but B, the fact that you, I think, didn't see any of the shark in the amount you had watched previously?
Yeah. I remembered like the very opening bit because I think this is what happened. I think I got really freaked out by the opening,
By the cold open?
by the cold open, and then went no.
And stopped?
Yep.
All right, so Bob didn't see the shark at the last time he attempted to watch Jaws.
No.
So this was a different experience for him. He actually got to see the shark in a shark movie.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give Bob some time to calm down by describing the plot.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's honestly fairly simple, as I think any good plot should be. It's simple, straightforward, and then it's all the extra stuff that kind of makes it worthwhile.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how this movie plot is, where there's a shark attack. It's in the cold open. Someone dies.
Yep.
Sorry for spoilers for this
Almost
48-year-old movie.
Almost 50-year-old film.
I'm going to try to not do too many, but
No.
they're just going to be there. So fair warning if you haven't seen Jaws yet.
Yeah.
But someone dies in the cold open, and their body's found like the next morning washed up on the beach. And Brody, who's the sheriff, basically finds it. And he freaks out because he's like, someone died.
Yep.
And it doesn't look good. Looks like they were torn apart. And he sends the body to the coroner, and the coroner tells him, yeah, it's a shark attack. And so he freaks out. It's like, well, we got to shut down the beaches because someone died, and they died from something that's in the water. So all the beaches started getting... He goes to try and shut the beaches down, and the mayor comes up to him and is like,
Nope.
nah, it's not a shark attack. It's a boat accident.
Yeah.
And he has, like, the other elected officials with him, and even the town coroner, it's a elected official because it's a small town, and the coroner's like, I made a mistake. Totally a boating accident.
Boating accident, for sure.
And so Brody, the sheriff, just has to be like, all right, I guess. Because they basically straight up tell him, hey, we were wrong. It's not a shark attack, which I don't think he believes. But they also tell him, we're just not going to let you shut down the beach because you need, like, their authority to do so.
Yeah.
And Bob, does that go well?
No.
No,
No, absolutely not.
because I think it's not that long later. It's never, like, explicitly stated,
How long it's been.
but someone dies
Again.
again. And after that death, one of the family members of the person who recently died in the second attack basically puts a bounty out on a shark.
Yeah. Shark bounty.
And this gets, like, a bunch of attention. So a bunch of, like, people from out of town come in to, like, hunt the shark. And Brody even calls in, like, a specialist on sharks
Mm-hmm.
from out of town. Hooper,
Yeah.
who's a oceanographer, I believe, because he's from the Oceanographic Institute. I guess he could also be a marine biologist, and that would make more sense because he studies sharks. But
Yeah, he's basically a shark expert.
it's unclear. Anyways, long story short, some dudes hunt a shark. It's not the right shark.
Yep.
And basically, Brody's like, hey, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vaughn.
Mr. Vince Vaughn.
It's not Vince Vaughn,
It's
but
not Vince Vaughn.
it could be.
His name is Mayor Vaughn, but it's funny to call him Vince Vaughn.
He's like, hey, this isn't the shark that killed this person, that killed these two people. And, of course, the mayor's like, nah, we're going to
Oh,
open
he
the beaches
sucks.
again.
He
Because,
sucks so much.
how do I put this? It's one of the situations where this town, Amity, it's a summer town.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a ski town where basically they get all the money that the town makes the whole year comes in like 2 months. And so if the beaches are closed, the town will die. And it's a really bad situation all around. And the mayor's like, we can't close the beaches or the town will die. And so I do want to mention it's kind of like a back and forth fight there.
Yeah. It's a struggle.
Like, he's not the worst mayor we've seen.
No. He does do something that I find pretty despicable at one point.
But anyways, he's like, no, I'm not going to close the beaches. 2 people have died. We totally got the shark. You can't tell me.
Yeah, you can't prove that we didn't get the shark.
Yeah, because they had some proof, and it was lost. Brody and Hooper, I mean. But the mayor's like, I'm going to open the beaches, but you can do whatever you want to try and keep people safe.
Yep.
So they basically, Brody basically starts calling everyone he can and gets, like, a posse together in boats to, like, guard the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of works.
Yeah.
Except the shark goes to the pond, which is basically like a bay to the side of the beach, and gets someone else.
Yep.
And that right there, that whole thing I described, is basically the front half of this movie.
Yeah.
Like the first
Hour?
I'd say. And after this last attack, Brody's like, I'm done. We're paying this guy Quint, who's introduced in, honestly, like the first 10 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
He's introduced really early, who's a shark hunter. He's like a fisherman who hunts specifically sharks, assumedly to sell, like, shark jaws and stuff.
He has a bunch in his, like, shack.
Either that or he's just straight up retired.
Yeah.
But he basically volunteered to hunt the shark for $10,000, which is an insane amount.
Yeah.
It's like the bounty out for the shark that killed the 2 victims was originally $3
$3
grand.
grand, which I think you said came to $16,000.
Yeah, I looked it up. It's closer to $17,000 in today's money. So 10,000 is a little bit closer to, like 60.
Yeah,
Grand.
it's a lot of money.
But Brody basically is like, we're hiring him because we have to get rid of the shark. It's killed a bunch of people. And so the rest of the movie is Brody, Hooper, and Quint on a boat hunting a shark.
Yep.
And I think I'm just going to leave the ending off here.
Yeah.
Because that's just like the last hour of the film.
Yeah,
It's really good.
I didn't expect. I'll just say this: they got on the boat and I went, movie's almost over. And then it was an hour of them on the boat. You think you can't do much with 3 men on a boat? You can do a lot with 3 men on a boat.
It's great.
It's great. That might be my favorite part of the film.
I think it's my favorite part of the film. And when
Yeah.
you said you'd only seen like 45 minutes of the film, I was like, you haven't even seen the boat stuff,
Yeah.
which is my favorite. It's also the part where we actually see the shark because I do think it's important to mention that for a shark movie, the first hour or
Mhm.
so when they're on land, I don't think you see the shark once until the last like 5 minutes of that hour.
Yeah.
Where you get to see like its fin and its face for half a second.
Yeah, in the pond.
Yeah. All right. On that note, I think we can discuss the movie.
Yeah.
Bob, you liked it?
It's a good movie.
For how scared you were?
But I will say there are a couple of moments where I actually almost like shit my pants. Like there are some good outtakes where I almost lost my marbles because I'm so fucking scared of sharks in the ocean.
Yeah, I know. I looked over a couple times and I was like, Bob is shaking.
I don't like these things, but I appreciate this film. It's a very, very good movie. And I think a lot of what makes this movie good, and this is something we just talked about a second ago, is how little of the shark you see in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so
Suspenseful because of it?
suspenseful because it's like, you know it's a shark. They keep telling you it's a shark, but since you don't see it, it doesn't feel real. You know what I mean? Like there's threat, but since you're not being able to see what the thing is, it's so much scarier when you finally see it.
Yeah, it's just an unknown threat in the water.
Yeah, which is a big part of why I don't like the ocean, because
Yeah.
that scares the shit out of me.
It's a very suspense-based thing for the first hour. And I think a lot of times it's compared to Hitchcock. I think Spielberg has said he's inspired by him because, like, that's a director he would have grown up watching. And there's a couple reasons for why the film shot that way. And, like, obviously there's some direct inspiration and being like, oh, this will make a good film. But one of the really famous things about this film is the mechanical sharks were notoriously horrible to shoot
Mhm.
with. They were just finicky and they didn't like to work because, it's this giant, like, foam
Shark that has
They-
to be in the water.
It has to be in the water. And so it didn't work a lot, and it didn't look good a lot of the time. I mean, we can say right now, I think the practical effects for the shark look okay.
Yeah.
But they aren't, like, super realistic.
Mm-mm.
Part of that is because we were watching in Ultra HD, which doesn't help. But it is definitely one of those things where you just want to see a little bit of it to do a lot. And point being is that the shark didn't work a lot, so they didn't want to shoot with it a lot. And that's why the shark isn't in a lot of the movie, is it's kind of the workaround.
Yeah, but I guess that I think it works. Like I think it makes for a much better film
No.
not seeing the shark as much.
I agree. It works. I think it makes a better film. I think Spielberg did a great job using the lack of shark in the first hour to make it super suspenseful.
Mm-hmm.
And even when we start to see the shark a lot in the last hour, still using it sparingly
Mm-hmm.
in a way that's super impactful when it's on screen. I think it's great. I think it's just important to mention that, like, it's kind of not on purpose
Yeah, that's fair.
because it's just a very interesting situation because of that.
I think the front half of this movie is really carried by the fact that you see people get attacked by the shark, and they do a really good job of just showing sheer terror when they're being like dragged around. Like they do such a good job of like, I want to say almost like gator death rolling people, but with a shark, where they're just getting fucking tossed around and dragged and shit, and people are screaming. That really got me good. Like
Yeah.
that is something that made the shark so much scarier when you finally get to see it, because like, oh, that's the thing that was doing that to those people.
Because they've been establishing the whole film just how strong it is.
yeah,
Just how, like, it's projected less as, like, an animal and more like a force of nature because it's throughout the film described as almost supernaturally strong and big, which is super cool because it's just like this mythical creature that just happens to be a great white shark.
Yeah.
The shark aside, though, I think what really makes this film, because shark's super cool,
shark's cool.
love Brucey, but the thing that really makes this film is the character stuff.
Yeah,
especially like with Brody. Basically, Brody carries the whole first half because Amity's a small island, like community, and he's from New York. He's a New York cop, so he's coming from out of town as like an outsider, trying to keep a hold on this very, very stressful situation. And so it's kind of a bureaucratic nightmare for the first part of the film. And like Bob said, the second part of the film is all the boat stuff, and it's really good. Don't necessarily think 3 men on a boat's going to be great, but
It's pretty great.
it's carried because we have 3 very intense characters that have written very well and bounce off each other in very entertaining ways.
They're also very different characters as
Mhm.
well. And you get to see a lot, like, you don't get a lot of Quint on the actual land, but you get a lot of Hooper and a lot of Brody.
Yeah.
And those two together are so fucking good.
They have a little buddy cop thing going
And
on.
it's so fun. And it's so entertaining because, like, I think one of the coolest parts of this film is it's not even, like, a big, it's kind of an overarching, like, thing that happens. But basically, people on the island don't like outside people. They're very,
That's like a small community thing.
it's
but
a small community thing. But because Brody is from off island, it comes up a couple of times where, like, the mayor's like, it's your first summer here. You don't have to deal with it, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Hooper is also from off island. Quint is an islander. So seeing the sort of shift from these people don't know what they're talking about, they're not from the island, who cares? Like, he's the cop, but we don't really have to listen because he doesn't know what he's talking about. To Quint going, all right, fuckers, island time to learn how to catch a shark, is so entertaining to me.
yeah. But yeah, they're all 3 pretty strong personalities. I mean,
Yeah.
Brody's the afraid of water sheriff from New York. It's basically Bob
Yeah.
if he was a sheriff. Hooper is the shark obsessed
Scientist man?
scientist man.
Yeah.
And then Quint is like the grizzled ex-Navy guy.
Yeah. Grizzled fisherman.
It's just great. Like the last hour of this film, all the boat stuff, besides all the character drama, really reminds me of like a Western almost.
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah.
They're just like chasing down a shark in the open ocean, kind of like
You would chase someone down in the open desert.
a bunch of cowboys wrangling cattle or chasing down a man running from the law. And
Yeah,
I just think it's great.
That's a great analogy because you got the sheriff, you got his deputy and Hooper, and then you got the outlaw that they've wrangled into helping him, which is Quint. Because Quint's kind of a grimy bastard man.
I love him. He's great.
But he's great. Yeah, he's really good.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't have much to say about this film. It's a really hard one for me to comment on because like I think it's great, but it's also plastered through a lens of nostalgia for me.
Yeah.
I've told Bob this is my pre-beach movie since I was a little kid.
That's an insane thing
Like,
to hear.
We had like one of those portable DVD players when I was really, really little because we always took super long road trips like multiple times a year, like 8 hours plus.
Yeah.
And then when we were slightly older, we had like one in the car. But this would go on when we were going to the beach like every time
That's insane to me.
because it's a great water movie. It's great for like the ocean. It really gets you in the mood to go swimming. 'Cause it's so pretty.
No. I've never swam in the ocean and I never will. You can't make me.
I think that's a great transition to
Don't say it.
our plan.
We're not
Which is
planning on anything.
Basically, I think Bob should get in a shark cage with me.
Absolutely not.
I think we're gonna
No.
do that.
I'm just telling you no, I'm not doing it.
So look out for that whenever that happens.
No, I'm not doing it. You can't fucking make me. You would have to drag my cold dead corpse into the ocean, then revive me to get me in there. I'm not.
Or-
no.
Or we do what they did for Brody, and they just got him really drunk and stuck him on a boat. Because Brody's afraid of water.
Brody's terrified of water, and I think that's such an interesting
Character
thing.
trait.
Yeah, because it makes it so much more scary. Because the whole time you're like, he doesn't like the water, and he keeps going, I don't like it for a reason, but you don't ever learn why.
He says drowning as a child.
Yeah, but there are other hints at other stuff that they don't actually talk about, which I think is really cool.
They said drowning as a child.
Yeah, but
His wife goes, "What happened?" And he went, "Drowning."
liar.
I'm not lying. I've seen the movie.
No, I'm saying like he's lying.
He's not lying.
No, Benjamin.
What?
When is that a spoiler? I don't know if I should talk about that.
Why don't you mime it? Do a visual gag.
No, it's not a spoiler, so it's fine. At one point in the film, they're all on the boat and they're showing each other all their scars
Yeah.
from different shit. And Hooper has a bunch of scars because he like works with animals.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
Because I know what you're gonna say. Are you go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it, Bob.
No, I feel.
Go say
now I
it. Go
feel
ahead and say
stupid.
it. Go ahead and say it.
Well, he's got like a big ass scar on his stomach
Yeah.
that he doesn't like show them.
Yeah. So basically, Hooper and Quint are comparing like their war wounds, right?
Yeah.
From what they've gotten from really cool stuff. Brody pulls up his shirt and looks at this scar he has right, like the front, like right-hand side or so of his torso,
Yeah.
that's a appendectomy scar.
Oh, he had okay.
That's quite literally Roy Scheider's, like, the actor's real-life appendectomy scar.
Oh, really?
And that's why he looks at it and quickly covers it up, because he was like, I wonder if I have any scars. And he looks at his scars and go, oh, well, they're going to make fun of me because that's my only scar.
Oh, damn. I thought he had some water-related trauma that that
No.
scar was from. Never mind. I'm stupid.
He had pretty standard surgery.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Appendicitis sucks.
Yeah.
I've never had
really
it.
bad.
Because if that thing burst, you're basically doomed.
Yep. Go on the toxic shock.
I don't know if there's much. I got one thing I want to talk about before
Okay.
we move completely on to whatever else we want to talk about in this film. Because I assume you have stuff to talk about, like
Nope.
facts.
Nope.
Okay, that's fine then. This is the last thing. The big thing about this movie that I like so much is the back half is great with all the people on the boat because they're very well characterized people and they're interesting and you care about them because there's a lot of different stuff that happens. But the front half of this film is basically just watching the town react to the shark, like seeing what the town does in response and the bureaucracy of it. And I love the beach scenes with all the people because it shows the panic, like the terror that they have. Like they're really actually very afraid of this thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people get fucking trampled.
Yeah, like this is something that I like about when we watch The Crazies and The Crazies remake. There's something about this mob mentality and the way like a tragedy affects a small community that I just enjoy seeing it so much because it's so interesting to
Bob
me.
enjoys tragedy.
From from more like an anthropological perspective of like what this kind of thing has an effect on a community that's so tightly knit, like a place like Amity, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And seeing like the panic spread through and like the way people like either A, value others over themselves or value themselves over others, and seeing the different way that everyone reacts. And I especially like the fact that while I do not like the mayor, like he sucks, but I get where he's coming from. After the third shark attack, he has a change of heart. Kinda. He's like, there's this moment where he's talking to Brody in the hospital after all this stuff happens. And Brody's like, no, we have to hire Quint. And the mayor's like, basically in shock. He doesn't even know. He's mumbling to himself. He doesn't know what to say. He's kind of freaking out. He goes, my kids were in the water. Like, there's this moment of realization of, oh shit, these people's lives are more important than how much money the town makes.
I don't even think it's that. It's more this moment of, for like the audience, Vaughn's been painted kind of like as a antagonistic character.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this moment for the audience to realize that, oh, well, we don't like what he's doing. He's also affected by this situation just as much as everyone else.
Yeah, it removes him from, like, above the problem and brings him down to level with everyone else. And I like that a lot because it's this element of realism that I don't think we have in this film up to this point. Like, he feels like a caricature of a shitty mayor. You know what I mean? And to bring him down really levels everything out.
Because before that, you don't think about the fact that, oh, yeah, he lives here too, and he
Yep.
probably has family that are getting in the water.
Exactly. And I just like that a lot because then when you get to, like, all of the stuff on the boat, they're very much
Removed from the situation.
removed from everything and are caricatures of, like, their overarching, like,
Archetypes.
So that shift from, like, that moment with the mayor, I think, is a shift in the movie from realism to, oh, shit, shark. Oh, shit, crazy shark stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I think is really fun. I think that's all. I think that's it. I think
Okay.
that's all I got.
Yeah. I don't really have any more.
Yeah, there's not a ton to talk about because it's a very simple plot where a lot of the interesting stuff is how the characters interact.
And it's just executed very well.
Yeah, and Hooper's just super funny.
Yep.
He's just such a smarmy man.
All right. On that note, though, let's move on to recommendations.
Okay. If you're into shark attack movies and you haven't seen Jaws,
That's weird.
that's weird.
You're a weird person.
You're weird
I
because
don't mean to attack you, but like,
Yeah.
that's a weird break in your cultural awareness. For
Yeah,
shark
like-
attack stuff.
this is I think this is for a lot of people the shark attack movie, and I see why.
Yeah, if you've seen like Sharknado and Sharktopus,
Yeah.
and
You haven't seen Jaws? What are you doing?
how did that happen?
I don't know. Yeah, Jaws, like, highly recommend it for shark attack movie. I would say if you want to see, like I was saying earlier, how something tragic affects a small community like this, I think this is a great introspective into the bureaucracy and, like, the weighted nature of a situation because there are two forces forcing back for both good reasons, and it's very
Mhm.
interesting to see the town navigate that.
Yeah.
So if you're into that sort of thing, if you want, at least for the back half, a small cast of characters that bounce off each other really well and like you want to see, because like we didn't even talk about it, but like they're on a boat, so they're kind of isolated. So seeing them just together, and that's the only people out there besides the shark, it's cool. And seeing them bounce off each other in a situation that is scary, at least for them, very interesting. If you're into oceans at all, there's a lot of really cool ocean stuff. Like, we didn't really get into it, but like lots of underwater stuff. I don't want to really spoil it, but there's some cool ocean stuff on the boat that you get to see later.
Yeah. I mean, the whole boat stuff's at sea.
Yeah. If you're I think this is actually an interesting movie if you're interested in like big game fishing, because there was some stuff in this that I didn't know. Like my dad fishes. I fish with my dad, but we
Bob
don't
can't big
fish on the
game
ocean.
fish because that involves going to the ocean.
There it is. Like, I fish on lakes and ponds and stuff, right? I didn't know half of the stuff that this guy was doing. It was also in 1975, so seeing the old style of equipment and stuff they use is really, really cool for me. I don't know how much of that stuff is still modern. Like, I don't know how much of it has changed, but it's very cool.
They use a lot of stuff still, but it's updated.
Yeah. So seeing that old style of equipment's really cool. I don't know if I have any more recommendations. I think it's my recommendations. That's it.
All right. For me, it's the big ones. If you want to see a shark/ocean movie, this is probably one of the best ones out there. Mostly because it's a classic, and so it's the basis for a lot of stuff, but also just because I think it's very well done. But my other big recommendations here have to do with both the front half and the back half. So if you're a fan of kind of like small town kind of interpersonal dramas, where you get to see a community affected by something horrifying, this is a great film for that, or at least the front half is. So if that sounds interesting, you can check it out. On the back half, though, if you want to see something that's more of a small group of characters isolated in a high-stress environment trying to deal with the problem, it's great for that. So if that sounds interesting, check it out. And because I made this reference earlier, if you want to see a Waterworld version of a Western, why not? Go check that out, too.
It's a good analogy, dude.
All right. On that note, I guess you want to do ratings?
Okay. This one's hard for me. Because, like, I like this movie. I think it's really fun. I don't know if I can... You know what? No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna let me ruin the movie for myself. 5. I think this is like the shark movie. I've said this a couple times because we watched a lot of really classic movies lately. But this film is like, if you are into shark movies and you have not seen this, what are you doing? It's a great shark film because it does a lot of stuff that's super cool. Like, using the front half to build suspense for the back half to make the shark way more scary makes this more of like a suspense thriller movie rather than just a straight up monster shark attack movie, which I think a lot of modern shark movies kind of do. Like the Meg movie, that's not really a scary movie. That's like an action movie about a giant ass shark.
Yeah.
It's very different, which I
No, the
think
shark
is
isn't
cool.
necessarily like scary in that.
No,
I mean,
it's supposed to be just a monster.
Yeah.
This is not, while the shark in this movie is a monster, it is not monstrous.
The stakes are much lower in this film.
Yeah,
'Cause
sure.
It's smaller, but
But I think that's really cool. I think that really brings it above and beyond what I wanted from a shark film. But I think also, like, the character drama is so interesting and cool because there's tons of, like, small stuff that each character does that is... They're characterized so well that you know exactly how they're going to react when certain stuff happens. Like, every time someone says something... Like, Quint and Hooper have this thing going on where Quint is a shark hunter, so he knows what he's talking about. But Hooper is coming at it from a scientific perspective, so they have different views. And Quint they just fuck with each other, and it's so fucking funny. And it's so entertaining while also being good characterization and what you want. And because it, like, breaks up the high-stress situation of the shark.
yeah, there's also just random follow-throughs, like Brody's rampant alcoholism throughout the film.
Yeah. I just think it's so well written and so well constructed, and the execution is so high. The fact that the shark isn't in some of the movie, while I think it makes it a better film, may disappoint some shark movie enthusiasts.
Yeah, if you want to see a shark in your shark movie, that probably isn't the best for that.
Yeah, but I think it's made up for by the fact that there's tension built in when you get to see the shark, it actually looks really cool. And also, I'm just so scared of sharks, and it did such a good job of scaring me.
Fair enough.
I don't think I could give it lower than a 5 because of how well it's executed.
Fair.
Alone.
Enough. All right, I'm also going to give it a 5. But I want to say I'm in that weird boat of there's super, super large amounts of nostalgia for me watching this film.
Fair enough.
And I've seen this film so many times where it's hard for me to, like, view it as someone who hasn't seen it so many times. They've remembered, like, lines.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for me to be, like, subjective about it or to talk about it because it's just a film to me that just exists and it's there. Why doesn't everyone know it as well as I do? With that being said, I do think it deserves a 5, mostly because, like, this basically invented shark films, and when a film's so relevant that it basically invents its own genre, it's hard to give it lower than a perfect score, because that's just the best demonstration of something staying power and its impact at the time. With that being said, this film does a lot of things super well that also help it get that high rating. All the characterization is great. I know for a fact a lot of it is add-ons from like a bunch of different writers working together to make the script better. Like there's a lot of different stuff that happens in the book, and so I think it's really important to note that they really tried hard to make this a better film than I think it initially should have been from like a straight up adaptation standpoint, and so I got to give props there. Additionally, like all the shark stuff, well, super hard to work with. The tech wasn't really great for it. They really put the work in, and they made it work to the best of their abilities, and it turns out really well. But I think the best part of this film is how they deal with the horror. It's a straight up suspense film. Like, they build tension, and so they take a situation that is, scary, but objectively not that bad. I mean, like, before the shark hunt, I think only like 3 people have died.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bad situation for a small town, but objectively it's not like the worst thing ever. Like, it's not like a super scary monster, and they've used tension to make this like this horrifying force of nature. And I think for that alone, it gets like a bunch of props for just amazing execution and tension building. It's great. It really makes the film. But I think that's all I got. It's 5,
Yeah.
Go watch it if you haven't seen it.
It's just like, it's such a cultural milestone that I don't know if we really could give anything less, because it's so well done.
And it's hard to remove yourself from it too.
Yeah. Especially when you look at a lot of, like,
I mean, we have goddamn Shark Week.
yeah, that's what we literally talked about that during the thing. I was like, fuck it, do we have Shark Week now? Like, it's such a...
That's such a nonsense thing to have.
Yeah.
That only exists because of movies like this.
Exactly. So, fantastic.
All right. On that note, I guess we're gonna go to the outtakes. So get ready to hear Bob squeal.
Yeah, get ready for some squealing. We'll see you guys in a minute. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the outtake section for this episode of Beware the Board. I hope you're enjoying our review of Jaws so far. I think this movie's super fucking cool. While it does scare the shit out of me, I still think it's a super, super, super good movie, and I understand why people love it so much. But if you do not want any spoilers from the outtakes, please skip to 59 minutes and 21 seconds immediately. This first clip is my reaction to the cold open of this film. That's so fucking terrifying, bro. This next clip is my reaction to them finding the body of the first victim on the beach. Oh, that's so fucking gross. Covered in crabs. This next clip is my reaction to what happens every single time you see a dog in a horror movie. Oh man, not the fucking dog. What the hell, man? Even, I need the, oh god, shark. Please stop. Please stop. I don't like how menacing the shark is. This next clip is my reaction to the second shark attack. Oh my god, that's so much blood! Holy shit! That was a cool shot. They need to get the fuck out of the water. Why are they running into the water?
They're gonna go pull the children out, Bob.
Yeah, but like...
Because the children can't move very fast.
Sure. This next clip is this movie stressing me out.
They can also swim in fresh water.
Yeah.
It's like only happened like once or twice.
Oh!
Right.
Oh no. Oh no. Well, that's not good. Guy's getting dragged out.
Nah, he's fine. See?
Yeah, he's real fine,
It just took
bro.
the dock.
Just took the dog with it. Ah! I'm sure it's going to turn around in a second and start chasing him. That's such an interesting way to make it scary. Just by making the dock the thing that's... Because you can't see the fin. Oh, God. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. Swimming, swimming. This movie stresses me out, man.
I can tell.
Just fucking get out of the water, idiot. God, it can't be that fucking hard, bro. This next clip is Ben comparing me to Hooper, but also Ben supporting some interesting fishing methods.
That's you if you were a sailor, Bob, and less afraid of the water.
Okay. That's fair.
He's got a beanie
Yeah.
and a beard
Yeah.
and glasses.
Yeah.
The only qualifications.
Fair enough, man. I got a whole fucking gaggle of goons out here. Little squadron of boats to hunt this shark.
Yeah, it's $3,000 in 1975.
It's a lot of money, but I mean,
That's not just a lot of money. That's a shitload of money.
yeah.
For fishermen,
They're fucking throwing dynamite in the water.
yeah, that's how you fish.
That's not how you fish.
That is exactly how you fish. It kills fish, doesn't it?
fair, I guess.
The shockwave's actually super effective.
This next clip is Ben making another stupid joke.
I'm just surprised they got Vince Vaughn to be the mayor of Amity.
Shut up, bro. Oh my god. This next clip is Ben realizing he was wrong about his Hooper comparison and that I'm actually Chief Brody and he's Hooper. It's literally me and you. What's happening in this movie?
All right. I'm going to switch it, Bobby. You can be Chief Brody.
This next clip is the movie scaring the absolute piss out of me. Oh, god damn. That scared the fuck out of me, bro. Ah. Oh my god. Ah.
One of the best scares in this movie.
I'm not crying, I promise. This next clip is my reaction to the third shark attack. Oh, shark! Oh! Oh! Oh, I don't like seeing it! No. Oh, that guy's dead. That guy's good. Oh, God. Holy shit! Oh! His fucking leg's gone! No, come on, man. Oh. Swim, kid! Like, get the fuck out of the water! Somebody get a gun and shoot it! Does anybody have a gun? No way. I thought he was about to jump in the water. This next clip is me reacting to the shark some more. Oh! Shark! Shark! Oh, fuck you, splashing people on a boat.
Bob's stressed.
This movie's stressful. Make a phone call right now? Is there still a fire in the boat? This next clip is my reaction to Hooper getting in a shark cage like an absolute fucking maniac.
Bye.
Actual fucking crazy person. Why would you ever get in like a shark cage like this? The boat's already like sinking.
I don't know.
So
You'll have to ask yourself in the future when you get in a shark cage.
Shut up. I don't like this.
You don't like anything involving sharks or cages.
I'm into some cage stuff could be fine, but the shark stuff, no. Oh, god damn.
What's that coming at us?
I think it might be a shark. Maybe.
No, it could be a really big squid.
You're a really big squid. Holy shit, that thing is huge. That thing is fucking gargantuan. This next clip is my reaction to Hooper getting attacked by a shark while he's in the shark cage. Because, of course he does. Why? Get your arm in the fucking cage, idiot. Ah! Oh, of course. A fucking course. Instantly knocked the thing out of his fucking hand.
Like, you wouldn't also drop it in that situation?
But there's my thing.
Did you see what he did to the bars?
Yeah, with one fucking bash. Like, what do you do now? You can't, like, they don't know to drag you up. Oh! Oh my god. Like, that's so fucking terrifying. It's just like smashing the fucking bars with his face. Trying to get at him, bro. Ah!
He wants to give him a hug
Oh.
with his mouth.
Oh my god. Oh, he's stabbing with a fucking knife. That's pretty cool. Made him back off. I mean, yeah, your best bet is to try and hide in the cage as much as you can and dodge the shark.
You know, one side of it's gone, but
Yeah, well, it's the side the shark's face is in. But he's getting the shit stabbed out of him. This next clip is my reaction to the death of Quint and also some more shark shenanigans. This guy's hand crushed. No way. No, 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 no. Oh, oh no. Come on, man. That's so... Oh. That's so... Oh, it's got half of him in its mouth, bro. What the fuck? Oh my god.
there goes Quint. And there was one.
This is why I don't like the ocean.
On a sinking boat.
I don't like the ocean, man.
Ocean's great.
Whoa! Holy shit! Fuck this! Blah! That's so fucking scary. This next clip is me asking a genuine question and Ben giving a smarmy answer. Like, what do you do? Like, you're just gonna fall into the water and die.
You could swim, Bob.
Swim where?
To shore!
Bruh.
Most people can swim, Bob.
I know how to... This next clip is Ben and I's reaction to the final encounter between the shark and Brody. Oh, it took his stabby stick.
His harpoon?
That wasn't a harpoon, was it?
It's probably a harpoon, yeah.
Okay. Is that two different... Oh, no, that was its... Okay, I thought it had two different, like, fins for some reason.
Well, one's the tail fin.
Yeah, that's what I was... No, you're gonna shoot Hooper. That's so fucking cool! Yeah, fuck that shark. Oh, thank... Oh my god, that's a fucking cool explosion, bro. With a lot of chunks. Its whole face is gone. That was awesome. Hi everybody, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the outtakes. I definitely lost my marbles in some of those. There were a couple where I was just like actually like shell shocked. Oh god. Like, this is a suspense film, so it's not that bad. But if we watched like something like a real good, ugh.
There was one, though, where Bob actually screamed.
Oh yeah, no, it scared the fuck out of me. Like, actually scared the piss out of
And I
me.
was waiting for it the whole movie because I knew that's like the worst one in the whole film.
Oh, God.
All right. On that note, I guess we don't really have too many announcements except for, we're releasing on Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when our normal episode will come out. You should know that by now. And then we're still doing convention stuff, so look out for that on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, check us out wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, other places on the internet, including YouTube, which is a great place if you want to, show us some support where we can see it, because it's really easy to check, subscriber counts or likes and stuff like that. It's also a great place to talk to us. If you want to leave comments with, recommendations for new movies or just communicate with us, you can do it there, or on Twitter with Bob, and he will swim through your comments and look for a big one.
I was wondering how you were going to tie sharks into that one. That's good. Yeah. Check us out on Twitter. It's where we post updates about the show. Basically, if there's anything about the show you want to know, it's on our Twitter account. On Mondays, I post a spoiler post for that week's worth of episodes, which is basically a tweet with a movie cover that's hidden that you can reveal to see what the movie is, so you can watch it before the episode comes out. So whenever we go to talk about the movie, you don't get any spoilers, and when we're being really vague about stuff, you kind of know what we're talking about. Super useful for you guys. And then on any day that an episode drops, I always post a link to the episode. So if you ever miss an upload or wonder when something came out, there's always a link to it on our Twitter. It's also a great place to communicate with us and give us movie recommendations and stuff, just like YouTube. So if you ever, are like, hey, I want you guys to check out this movie, just, either DM me on Twitter or just reply to something on one of our tweets with hey, check out this movie. Because Ben and I are always looking for recommendations because categories are hard to fill out sometimes. And there's sometimes.
Like when someone chooses something like swamps.
It was a good category. It's a good category, damn it.
No.
Next season, I'm going to pick something heinous. You're going to hate me, huh?
Oceans?
No, I'm not doing that. Actually, I've already picked my category for next season. It's not going to be fun for me. But I decided that it would be a good category, so I'm going to pick it anyway. Last thing, check us out on TikTok. I post short clips from the show on TikTok now. I post outtakes, some conversations from the actual show, and normally there's actually a link to the full episode in the description. So if you listen to a TikTok and go, oh, I want to listen to all of that, you can just click on it and go right to the episode. It's really useful. Great. So if TikTok's your platform, it's where you want to watch short form content, check us out. Some of our TikToks are actually on YouTube Shorts as well. It just depends on the length because they have different requirements. It's kind of hard to get both at the same time. But I think that's it.
All
right? All right. Well, see you guys next time.
Yeah. Farewell and adieu.